Hi and welcome to Real Reviews, where today I'm going to be diving into Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. This is a retrospective on the documentary which got released on Apple TV Plus very recently and is well worth diving into. So, let's get stuck in, shall we? So, directed by Davis Guggenheim, who is the Oscar-winning film director, this is a deep dive into the life of Michael J. Fox. He started out on Family Ties back in the 80s. He came to superstardom very young in the Back to the Future trilogy as Marty McFly, obviously. He then went on to be in Doc Hollywood, and he then had a rejuvenation of sorts in Spin City, moved into television, and then obviously Parkinson's hit him full force. This is the story of a man who, it turns out, is carved out of absolute granite, who still is forging ahead with a life and is taking Parkinson's on with every ounce of power he can muster, either through his self-publicised and so we say publicised foundation and research into Parkinson's disease, but also through his connection within the industry, both in television and film. So the thing about Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, is that it really is a tour de force and a talking head of the actor himself, with intermittent, interspersed moments, both fictional and fact, which sort of weave his life together. But above and beyond that, there are so many other elements in this Apple TV movie which really deserve this spotlight. So let's dive into those, shall we? So the thing to remember, above and beyond the focus, the retrospective nature and subject of this documentary, is the fact that there is a real dramatic actor there. Michael J. Fox, for you Anorak fans, did feature in a Brian De Palma movie. He was in Casualties of War. He was opposite Sean Penn, and he gave a really solid, very worthy, award-worthy even, performance in that film. He so often has been written off as the king of light entertainment. Always good in front of an audience and comedically very astute. And yes, that does come through. The very clever blending of fact and fiction and recreation of certain scenes and moments in his life, which are interspersed with the talking heads, which is purely Michael J. Fox talking and reminiscing and being quite candid and poignant and on point. It is quite reminiscent of the Sidney Poitier documentary, Sydney, which is also on Apple TV, and also the Steve Martin documentary, which I spoke about quite recently, which is called Steve Martin, A Life in Two Pieces, or A Story in Two Pieces. I forget which. It wasn't that long ago. So if for no other reason other than pure curiosity, people who don't own Apple TV in terms of have a subscription, go out and get your month or your 3-month trial and track down these documentaries, and track down this one specifically because it was a big hit in Sundance a few years ago and it's well worth catching. So I'm going to move on to my rating. Let's do that. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 on the big old 5 scale. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, at least it shouldn't be. I'm a big fan of Michael J. Fox in terms of what he brings in terms of his dramatic scope and what he has done in his career, and also the sort of underlining there's a dignity and an ability and a poignancy which comes through because there's no agenda, there's no sheen of there's no pretense. There doesn't appear to be a superficial bone in the guy's body. And as I said at the beginning of this review, he is carved out of granite and takes falls, takes tumbles, things break. He gets bones broken, brushes it off, moves on, and the documentary continues. So this is why it deserves all the attention it can get. If you don't have a subscription, go out, get that month, get that 3-month Apple TV subscription, because the documentaries aside, there's just so much quality programming, so much stuff of interest, and this is amongst one of in the top 10% in my opinion, because it informs people. You learn something about somebody who is going through the process and is very pragmatic about it and very transparent and brave. I think that is the thing that comes through most for me, is that the sheer bravery and the balls to the wall sort of, you know, brazen, I'm not gonna go quietly into that good night if we're gonna do a bit of Dylan Thomas. So go out, check it out. I'm gonna move on to the trailer. Follow me. So you've reached the end of the video review for Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. So this is a bit where I go, if you've liked the video, then give me a thumbs up. Failing that, just drop a comment in the comment box below, because I will respond. And finally, just subscribe, so that every Tuesday and every Saturday when I drop another one of these videos, you'll get a little notification, and then you can drop in and watch or listen to as much or as little as you like, and then go about your day. In the meantime, check out the rest of the channel and maybe pop over to the Patreon page. Talk soon.